to a completely new week. Now, this is a surprise to me, probably a surprise to you, but I'm already in a trade, and this is Asia, so not New York. Two reasons. One is I'm not going to be available for New York, and the second reason is I got an alert, and it's professional buying. And if you have no idea what that means, don't worry about it. Um, I have some information in, I think, the last video. And if you watch that, then you'll know what I mean when I say professional buying. But I have these alerts that come in, and when they come in, I'll have a look at the screen and see if it kind of fits my fib model. So if you're completely new, I use the fib model, which is a model I use. I call it my operational model. And it just requires three things. It's a framework, so not rules. So if I do say rules, just ignore me for a second. So I'm in this trade already. I have, so let's talk about the trade. So the first thing is it's on the Dow YM, so not ES this time, and that's because the Dow, I got the alert for the Dow, and it's nice and clean. All right. The second thing is if we just go here, I'm just going to go to the 1 minute. So last year entry, I've just put a stop loss because I'm going to bed. I very rarely trade Asia, very rarely. So I've put the stop loss right below where I got the signal. Well, not signal, principal. So there's professional buying here, and we are going to target a measured move, right? So it's based on the same principle. I'm going to, let's just use this. All right, so I'm going to bed. I'm going to just end the video, and then we'll come back and we'll check out the result. All right, so the fib model, we have a low, we have a high, we have direction. And then we identify all the 5 minute, so 5 minute fair value gaps. If I go to the 5 minutes, I haven't marked them out because, like I said, I just got the alert and it was really good. I have a 30-minute fair value gap, but I also have a 5 minute there, 5 minute there. What do we do next? So phase two of that model is just wait for retracement. Wait for retracement into a fib that overlaps with a fair value gap, and that's what we have. Fib overlapping with a fair value gap. All right, pretty straightforward. The fib, the fair value gap, sorry, not the fib, must hold. It must hold. And one of the ways I know, well, I don't know. I actually don't know. Sorry. Not that I know, but one of the ways I decide I'm going to enter on a trade inside of fair value gap, okay, this is one of the ways, is if I see strength. So if I'm going long, I see strength, and if I'm going short, I see weakness. Now these are all VSA terms. Okay, so VSA terms. So if you've seen the last video, you understand what I mean. So I'm looking for testing, for example, or I'm looking for no supply inside inside that zone, inside that fair value gap. I actually got professional buying, okay, which is very strong. So professional buying inside a fair value gap, that's crazy, right? So that's why I took it. I didn't waste any time. I just took the trade. And if you measure, so from that low to 100%, and give or take is around right there. So that's where my profit target is. I am now just going to make this a little prettier, and then we'll come back. Give me 1 second. We'll come back. So I'm just gonna put that there. My stop loss is literally right there. It's not very far, and that's the target right there. So you can see, looks like a decent trade. It's Asia, but I think this will. I haven't traded Asia a lot, but I'm learning from this as well. Does the model work in Asia? Does the model work in London, for example? I mainly trade in New York. So the model is the model. I just follow the model. Sometimes it works, and obviously sometimes it doesn't work. Everything else is just managing the trade. So we have our direction, we have our step two, which is our fair value gap retracement, and the overlapping fibs. And of course, the outcome of that is a measured move. So that's it. I will come back to this. So I'll do my best to come back and do the end result of this. Just because we got this pretty early. It's Monday. It's literally the start of the week. So let's see what happens. I'm off to bed. I'll see you when either stop loss gets hit or my target gets hit. No, it's on now. It's 9:30 a.m. So just back to my computer because my alarm went off. And yeah, we've hit the TP. So it took a while, I guess, with Asia, and I guess that's probably why I guess most people don't trade in Asia. It's really slow. It's consistent. You're not at risk of hitting your stop loss. I had a really tiny stop loss, but it took. So we took the trade pretty early, pretty early. So I know I took it pretty early, just because, like I said, I got that principal alert from my from my MT4, and yeah, it's a simple trade. It's based on a fib model. We had our direction, and then your retracement back into the. I'm on a 30 minutes, by the way, 30 minutes. Let me drop to the 5 minutes, and that was a trade effectively. So right here, we had the retracement into a fair value gap overlapping with your fib. That's it. Do I, do I have 100% bulletproof way to know it's not like it's going to stop there, it's going to bounce? No, I don't. There's two strategies I employ. Okay, one is a continuous model strategy, which is there's three primary areas that I expect price to bounce, right? First is the 20%, second is the 50%, and the third is 70%, right? So initially, what I used to do was I will make sure I had enough ammunition to, try it 3 times, if that makes sense, right? So if it goes into the, around the 20 fib, percent fib, and it bounces, I'll take the trade and, see what happens, right? If I get stopped out, I'll try again. And this is what I used to do a long time ago. But now I I look for two things roughly. The first is if I'm bullish, I'll look for strength, and by strength, I'm using a VSA term, by the way, strength and weakness. So if I'm going short, I will look for weakness. What does that mean? So strength is you'll be looking for things like let's go to the 1 minute. You'll be looking for things like a test or no supply, something like that, right? A test or no supply. And then for shorts, you'll be looking for things like no demand, maybe supply coming in, something like that. So in my case, what I saw, right, where's the arrow? I've moved it somewhere. Okay, don't know where it is, but let's grab another arrow. All right, let's take this away. And I'm just going to go to 2 minutes just because it's probably cleaner. All right, that's very cleaner. So I don't know where the arrow is. I'm just going to draw another one. All right, so right here, I got the alert, and it's professional buying. Whenever I see certain, so with VSA in general, VSA has 300 different principles, and I think it has 8 like high-level principles. However, there are certain principles that are quite obscure, not part of the 8. I don't think they're part of the 8 that I generally will monitor, right? Because they're confirmation principles, if that makes sense. So on their own, they may not be strong enough. But if you look at the background, which is what I'm doing, so can you see how VSA and the Fib model kind of overlap? If anyone's seen my videos, you understand uh, what I mean, because I started off with a variation of the Fib model, like the basic version of it from a book, and over time I went through, I went through indicators and all that kind of stuff. Went through VSA, went through demand and supply, went through ICT, all that stuff, right? And then I realized very quickly, not very quickly, but over time that everyone's different, and my let's say personality. It's not personality. It's more my modus operandi. The way I instinctively operate is in that middle ground of I don't want too much complex information, and also I don't want it to be too basic, right? So I kind of operate in that middle ground, and I realized my models should fit that same modus operandi because I feel physically, emotionally a lot better when my model aligns with my, you can call it a personality, right? If it doesn't, it feels like I'm shaving against the grain. That's what it feels like, right? When you shave with the grain or shave against the grain, you get the same result. The difference is if you shave against the grain, you're going to get shaving bumps. So, dudes hopefully understand what I'm talking about. So I had to obviously move to a model that, even though it was giving me roughly the same results, I was a lot more emotionally stable, if that makes sense. A lot more confident. And then your results tend to improve over time because, like I said, for me, I stripped out the rules and really focused on frameworks. And that's it. So that's the trade today. It was good, but I risked very, very little. I mean, I risked virtually nothing for 1008 K day. So it started very early. I'm done. I'm out, and we'll be back tomorrow.